The United States of America is one of the largest and most diverse countries in the world. 50 states covering a vast swath of North America make up the country, with Alaska in the northwest and Hawaii extending the nation's presence into the Pacific Ocean. The country boasts an amazing number of travel destinations, ranging from the skyscrapers of New York City and Chicago, the natural wonders of Yellowstone and Alaska, to the tropical islands of Hawaii. Approximately 76 million people visit the United States each year, making it one of the most visited countries in the world. So join us as we travel and learn the service culture in the United States of America. The United States of America has paved the way for many innovative ways of conducting services. While American service providers continue to look to the rest of the world when operating cross borders, service culture in the US has solidified into quite a distinct one. The mentioned service culture has largely been shaped by a continual search for better and more effective ways to do things. As a relatively young country, the culture is less rooted in the way things have historically been done and more sprouted from the most recent occurrences. Consequently, the US as a culture is highly accepting of change, with change itself ironically remaining as a constant factor. In this video, you can find an outline of the major aspects of service culture in the United States of America.
Customer expectations are behaviors or actions that individuals anticipate when interacting with a service provider. Here are some of the customer expectations of an American consumer. Number 1. American consumers make purchasing decisions based on customer service. Number 2. They are more likely to make another purchase after a positive customer service experience. Number 3. American consumers will switch companies because of poor customer service. And number 4. They would pay 15% more for products if they knew they would receive outstanding customer service. Moving on to the 5 service standards in the United States of America. Number 1 is being punctual. Time management and punctuality are important in America. Being late or delaying something will reflect badly on you. You may be regarded as inconsiderate and disrespectful, so be on time. Don't skip lines. It is rude to push in a line or skip people in a queue. If you are in a rush, ask the person in front of you whether you can skip ahead, but expect them to say no. Tip correctly. At restaurants and bars in the US, sales tax and tips are not included in the menu. Therefore, items can cost up to 25% more. Additionally, those who serve you when you go out will expect a tip, as this is considered part of their income. Don't know how much to tip? Tipping 15 to 20% of the cost of the meal is the general standard. Follow social pleasantries. Smiles are basic signals of politeness and are seen as a non-verbal way of being friendly. Small talk when waiting in line is also considered acceptable. Don't ask personal questions. As a general rule, Americans value privacy. Asking questions about weight, age, salary, wealth, religion, or politics is considered rude. Americans are direct in the way they communicate. They value logic and linear thinking and expect people to speak clearly and in a straightforward manner. Time is money in the US, and therefore, people get to the point quickly. Communicating virtually is very common with very little protocol or formality is required in the verbal interaction. Americans are typically direct communicators, speaking honestly, clearly, and explicitly to arrive straight to the point. This does not intend to be rude or disregard courtesy in communication. For example, criticism may be delivered vaguely in order to remain polite and avoid offense. Americans generally prefer a straightforward and direct approach to ensure that their intention and meaning is understood. In professional settings, this honesty and authenticity is a means to productivity and efficiency. However, they may miss nuances in conversation, such as polite understatements, if their conversation partner is not being similarly direct. Americans are generally comfortable with asking questions if something is not clear to them. If you don't ask any questions, it will be assumed that you understand everything. They are generally informal in their communication. They use first names and slang with those they do not know well. However, this varies across different social contexts. Those from rural or southern regions may be more formal, using titles such as sir and ma'am. Americans are enthusiastic, assertive, and confident communicators. They are also comfortable talking about their achievements and success than people from many other English-speaking Western cultures. People are expected to speak on their own behalf instead of waiting for someone else to talk about their achievements. This could be summarized with the saying, "Be asked to wait, do not wait to be asked." If you are quiet, they may assume that you have a low self-confidence or less to contribute. Some Americans may be comfortable with voicing competing views if it helps overall objective. People tend to be frank and outspoken in sharing their opinions on a variety of subjects. Light confrontation and debate is quite common in a business setting. Many Americans will not shy away from conflict if they feel it will help them reach their objectives. Americans speak at higher volumes in public spaces, especially when they are excited. However, they generally do not appreciate loud or emotional outbursts. For example, if one's anger gets out of hand, they are often taken to the side to vent in private. One is not necessarily expected to hide their emotions, but keep them in check. Under the nonverbal communication style of Americans, they tend to maintain direct eye contact with the person they are talking to. This demonstrates warmth, openness, honesty, and approachability. However, people tend to avoid eye contact with strangers. If you make eye contact with a stranger in passing, it is best to give a small smile or nod to acknowledge them. Continuing on your way without doing so could mean you were simply staring or unfriendly, and can be considered slightly rude. They are comfortable with public physical affection and contact between family and friends. It is common and acceptable for men and women to hug in casual settings. However, people prefer not to touch those they do not know well. They limit physical contact with others in workplace. People from cities that are more internationally exposed may adopt more physical contact in their day-to-day mannerisms. Americans prefer to maintain a fair amount of personal space. For example, they will usually try to maintain a seat's distance away from others in public. If an American feels you are too close, they may step back without mentioning it. The best expression to adopt is a happy one. Smiling shows a simple gesture of goodwill. Americans tend to smile a lot, for example, when simply passing strangers on the street, and are likely to respond well when similar warmth is reciprocated. Some gestures like nodding to signal that you are listening and interested throughout a conversation is considered polite, while giving someone the middle finger is considered an insult. Hospitality is a large industry, but is made up of dedicated workers whose primary goal is to provide excellent customer service. With that, the following are the best practices for customer service in the hospitality industry. They don't spend much time on cooking and savoring their food. People in US usually eat a light lunch and typically eat on the go. That is why most of their service comes from fast food restaurants, convenience stores, pizza delivery, and carry-out options. If you are not sure whether there is one or several lines, you should still wait your turn and simply get behind everyone who arrived before you. No tips are needed at fast food restaurants or for carry-out. Small talk is acceptable and is considered nice. The host often indicates when it is time to begin. On subway cars, seats located nearest to the doors are designated for this purpose as well. It is also respectable to permit elderly and disabled to exit the vehicle first as a sign of courtesy and respect. Different regions within the United States have distinct cultural nuances that can impact service delivery. Nonverbal cues can vary across cultures and impact service interactions. Americans generally value personal space and tend to maintain a certain distance during interactions. They value equality and fairness, expecting equal treatment regardless of their background or social status. Americans tend to value direct communication, particularly in service encounters. Service providers are often expected to be clear and concise when conveying information. Even though there is no direct human contact in these remote encounters, each represents an opportunity for a firm to reinforce or establish perceptions in the customer. In remote encounters, the tangible evidence of the service and the quality of technical process and system become the primary basis for judging quality. The judgment of quality in phone encounters is different from remote encounters. There is greater potential variability in the interaction. Tone of voice, employee knowledge, and effectiveness in handling customer issues become important criteria for judging quality in these encounters. Determining and understanding service quality issues in a face-to-face context is the most complex of all. Both verbal and nonverbal behaviors are important determinants of quality. These are the difference between American, European, and Asian service culture in terms of technological views, professionalism, quality of service, respect, communication skills, and interpersonal skills.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome to Double Avenue. Do you have a reservation? Yes, it's under my name, Ran. Okay, wait a sec while I check the reservation. Okay? I can see here that you have a reservation for two people. Yeah. Follow me to your table. Thank you. Here's your table and the menu, ma'am. Your server will be here in a minute. Thank you. Good afternoon, Miss. I'm Kayla, and I am your server for today. Would you like to order, or would you like me to wait on the side? Actually, I'm waiting for my friend to arrive, so maybe I'll order later. But I think, can you recommend something of your bestseller? Okay, for pizza, our bestseller is the cheese pizza. Would you like that? Okay, is that the order? Yes. Any size is good for the pizza. What size would you like? I will order the 12 pieces for the pizza. Okay, thank you. Hey girl, have you ordered yet? Yes, I already ordered 12-inch of pizza for the group. Ladies, for your beverage, would you like anything else? We're regular lemon iced tea and that. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know if you need anything else or maybe just right there on the side. Thank you. Ladies, how's the food? Is there anything else I can do for you? It was excellent. Can we get a bill, please? Thank you. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Ladies, please your bill. Would you like me to split the bill for you? No, that would not be necessary. Okay, I would like to inform you that the 50% tip is already considered. Would you like to pay in cash or credit? Cash would be alright. Thank you. Thank you. Please come again. Thank you, ladies. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming. Please come again. Thank you.
I thought tips will be up to the customer. Though 50% tip is not a big deal for me, but it's just ridiculous. I want to continue earlier, and that's really the case nowadays here in the US. Wait, let me check my phone real quick.
Tipping used to be to reward good service, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It feels like every purchase you make includes the option to tip.
Yeah, but are buyers becoming fatigued, and is it impacting how often people go out to spend money? Teresa Priolo takes a look.
Those of us that work and get tips, they need the tips, so we should be generous.
Everybody is in the same boat. We've all suffered with COVID, and anyone that's helping me in a restaurant or a beauty parlor, I want to do something for them.
We've reached a tipping point when customers from coast to coast are feeling the effects of everything costing more money. From that cab or Uber ride to the coffee shop down the street, your takeout or the trip to the salon, and that fancy anniversary dinner. As the cost of service creeps up, so does a percentage we are being asked to tip.
If you want to start an argument with any New Yorker, you ask them about tipping.
The constant question, would you like to leave a tip, has contributed to something called tipping fatigue.
Wherever you go, you've got a screen asking you, do you want to tip 20, 25, 30%, or no tip?
The rule of thumb, according to the etiquette master himself, recognize when someone is performing a service and be as generous as you can.
I like to say if someone's grabbed the water out of a refrigerator, they perhaps haven't earned a tip. On the other hand, if someone has done a beautiful flower on top of your morning cappuccino and it's the place where you go every day, then those people should be tipped.
And still, even generous New Yorkers are feeling the squeeze.
It's tough when they default it to like 25 or 30. You have to catch it because then it gets really expensive as a patron.
If you're looking for some data to back up your tip of choice, the restaurant platform Toast found that tipping at sit-down restaurants is still roughly 20%. At coffee shops, that number's about 15%. And for takeout, the standard right now is roughly 14%. On the Upper East Side, Teresa Priolo, Fox 5 News.
American service culture emphasizes customer satisfaction and employee empowerment. Employees are expected to be proactive and take ownership of their work, and they are given a lot of freedom to make decisions and solve problems. These can lead to a more efficient and customer-focused workplace. However, American service culture can also be seen as being too focused on results and not enough on relationships. This can sometimes lead to customer service interactions that feel impersonal or even robotic. Additionally, the emphasis on individualism can sometimes lead to a lack of teamwork and collaboration. American service culture is a mix of both positive and negative aspects. Overall, American service culture is constantly evolving. Businesses are always looking for new ways to improve their customer service, and they are constantly experimenting with new technologies and approaches. American service culture is characterized by a strong emphasis on individual achievement, direct communication, efficiency, and customer service. This dynamism is one of the things that makes American culture so successful. These values have helped to make American businesses some of the most successful in the world.